G'day punters, I'm Mark Duclos. Welcome along to this week's episode of Behind the Boxes, another massive show coming your way. We're going to speak with a young lady who's really making a name for herself up here in the Northern Rivers region in Fiona Geary. Alex Thomas, the head of marketing is from Greyhound Racing New South Wales, is coming on to talk about a new Super Series concept. And in just a moment, we're going to speak with Wayne Billett, the Chief Operations Officer of Greyhound Racing New South Wales, about the announcement of the world's richest middle distance race. And a man who knows plenty about that because he works right beside Wayne Billett is my co-host, battler, Timmy Newbold. Welcome along to this week's ep, mate. How are you?
Yeah, g'day, Duke. Really well. We had a bit of a freshen up last week. We didn't put the show to wear. There was a few little issues. You weren't 100%, but you're looking fine tonight when we record this show. But yeah, it's been another busy week. Plenty happening. The middle distance race announced. The next 4 or 5 days, we're going to get news on the Phoenix, the other 5 greyhounds who are in the running to represent New South Wales for the our slot in the Phoenix. And, you know, we've got the big middle distance race at Dapto tonight on Thursday night. So, yeah, plenty happening and looking forward to getting back into the show. I actually missed it a little last week, Jude.
I missed you as well.
Did I miss you? Or I missed the show?
Oh, well, Badler, I really did miss you, mate. But anyway, not to worry. Listen, Greyhound Racing New South Wales announced the world's richest middle distance race will be conducted in New South Wales in March next year. It's worth $125,000 to the winner. Wayne Billett, the Chief Operations Officer of Greyhound Racing New South Wales, has popped up on your screens miraculously. Hey, Wayno, thanks for joining us this week, mate.
Yeah, good evening, Duke and Battler.
Now, listen, I've got to say, it's a real feather in the cap of Greyhound Racing New South Wales to be able to stage a $125,000 to the winner race over that 600-metre distance or thereabouts. I guess the catalyst for this, Wayne, goes all the way back to when you introduced the GRNSW Middle Distance Series, which have proven to be a great success.
Yes, Mark, it has. And that was a real gap in our racing schedule, which was identified some time ago. Obviously, at Wentworth Park, we don't have the ability to have middle distance racing. And you know, the feedback from participants over time is that, you know, we've got the 500 dogs and the 700 dogs at that increased prize money level, but we really had nothing for that middle range of dogs. So we introduced that series at Dapto, Richmond and the Garden some time ago on a consistent basis. And that's been a huge success for us. And in recent times, that's been expanded to the Northern Rivers and to the Central West. So it's something that's been a work in progress over time. And to be fair, the nomination flow has been really good. It's allowed... I think it's helped our distance pool of greyhounds, and we'll continue to help our distance pool of greyhounds as well. So it's been a real shot in the arm for those type of dogs, which generally we would have lost potentially to interstate.
And Wayne, we're the only state who hasn't got a metropolitan, you know, middle distance race, but that didn't stop you putting up this huge amount of prize money for these greyhounds in that range.
No, Tim, and to be fair, we've looked at how we can invest in our industry across the board. So we've had feature races. We've got all our traditional group races, which are around that 500-metre mark and the 700-metre mark. So this was, again, just investment in that space. I think, again, Tim, it's just supporting and reinvesting in the industry and the people who do that. And it will only go on to be a great series, and something that we have done. It's very regional. It will be very regional. So it's something that can only be benefit to our industry.
I was just about to say that, Wayne. It's been slated as a race for a regional area throughout New South Wales. Have you come to a decision as to which track will stage the inaugural series in 2022?
No, Mark, we haven't at this point, but we will have that announced over the next week or two. The reason is we've just got some works in place around some of our venues in the regions, and we just want to make sure we get the timing right. But when we do announce it, we'll still give people plenty of opportunity to be able to plan where it is.
And Wayne, with the amount of features, you know, we've got around Australia now, was it difficult to come up with, you know, a date as far as running the series in March and moving forward? Will it be run during March every year?
Tim, the group racing is absolutely crammed, as you can appreciate. I think the one thing that the group race schedule does allow for is a bit of expansion in the middle distance space. and also potentially the short course space. So the traditional 500 metre and 700 racing, it is just jam-packed, and to be able to get additional events into there has its challenges. But for this event, we've seen an opportunity to be able to have it in that, in between sort of like the Richmond Derby, etc., before the Golden Easter egg. So in that period, which gives us a good time of year to run it, and that is the time that we try and plan with the Golden Easter egg series being in a fixed date. This actually allows us to plan. This has allowed us to plan an event like this. So that's sort of helped us in the long term, and the intention is to stay in that space.
And Wayne, again, just going back to the fact that we introduced that middle distance series, it must be really heartening because as Timmy and I do the form, the flow of dogs interstate now, the dogs that we would normally have lost to Victoria, Queensland, South Australia, wherever, it really seems to have, sort of gone to a very small amount. I spoke to Johnny Carruthers a few weeks ago. He absolutely loves it. I think he's won a couple of them with Angel Glow. So that pool of dogs is staying here, which enables us to have bigger fields, better wagering outcomes.
Yeah, you're right, Mark, and at the end of the day, it's really important that we have our prize money levels competitive in that space. We've all heard over the years that we're losing dogs interstate, we're losing this interstate, we're losing that interstate. So there's been a real focus from us, and the middle distance is an important component of that, is to make our racing prize money competitive. And if you just even look at the Melbourne Cup this week, I think there's only one or two dogs from New South Wales in the heat. So it's just shows that we are keeping our dogs in our state, which was vital for our long-term sustainability. I mean, it wasn't that long ago, Mark and Tim, that we had race meetings continually, poor numbers. The average field size was only average. So we worked really hard to invest in the prize money space, which people have reinvested. The breeding numbers are solid. So it only goes all well for moving forward to be able to sustain a real strong racing product.
And Wayne, we know how vital the wagering side of things is to the industry, but I know, talking to a number of punters, and particularly a couple of professional punters, they love betting on the middle distance racing, and you're getting those sharper those stronger 500 metre dogs getting up to the middle journey, but then the sharper 700 metre dogs coming back. So generally, they are really competitive betting affairs, and the punters do love it.
Yeah, and Tim, the beauty of the middle distance is that even within our own network, they're very different types of dogs. So if you look at Dapto, the 600 Dapto is a bit of a speedy 600. Do you know what I mean? You get those bit stronger 500 dogs will get it. Where you look at the 600 at Richmond, the 618, it's a bit more dour. Do you know what I mean? Which is a really good stepping stone for those distance dogs. And then the Gardens is in that middle space there. So they all complement all different types of dogs, which allows people to have the opportunity to see where their dog sits in that space. So it's worked really well from us from that regard.
Mate, I know it was quite frenetic for you during the lockdown period as the pressure sort of eased off a little bit. Is Battler pulling his weight, more importantly?
Well, the pressure has eased considerably, Mark. Thank goodness for that, I must say. And, we've been, the industry is pretty resilient, but we're coming out the back end of it now, which is great for everyone. Obviously, we've got the Greyhound of the Year on this weekend, which for me is a real true celebration of what we've done, not only for the past year or two, but what we've done for the past 6 or 7 years. And it's a really important showpiece for us on Sunday. And now Tim, I've actually got him doing some proper work now. Duke, he's had to pull his finger out and get some other stuff done, mate. So we're chugging in the right direction.
Mate, he terms this thing as work. Like, I thought it was just two mates having a chat, but apparently he fills in a little pay thing for it. I'm not even going there, Mark. Hey, listen, mate, keep up the good work. We've got the world's richest race over the sprint journey, the world's richest middle distance race. A little birdie told me we've got some big announcements coming in the next 4 to 6 weeks about some other events as well. So, again, well done, mate.
Yeah, stay tuned and thank you.
Wayne Billett there, Battler. And I tell you what, it's significant to know the amount of races that we're running, but it's more significantly to you know, when you look at the prize money we've now got on offer, and again, I reckon it's a massive boon.
Oh, it's huge. It's great to see the prize money flowing into the middle distance racing, Duke. We know we've got the sprint, the 500, the million to the winner, and we've got some big prize money races for the genuine stayers here in New South Wales and all around the country. But that middle distance, particularly here in New South Wales, for that big prize money, it has been lacking, and it's great to see, you know, the powers that be at Greyhound Racing New South Wales, targeting that area, pumping prize money into it, and who knows where it will end up. But it's great. It's fantastic prize money. I think New South Wales at the moment should be pretty proud and happy with how we're trending, particularly trending in the right direction.
Yeah, it's funny. Just before we go to a break, you know, it was quite often discussed about, can we have a 600-metre start at Wentworth Park? Can they build a chute and all that? And I guess for its entirety now, I mean, our lease runs out in 2027. Whether we stay there or not, that's another matter altogether. But the only metropolitan track without a 600-metre race.
Yeah, it's quite remarkable, and probably the most famous track of all tracks in New South Wales. Oh, people will argue, will take us up on that, but other states will anyway. But yeah, it is quite remarkable, Duke. But we've got some really, really good 600-metre, you know, like the 618 at Richmond. That's a fantastic, you know, middle distance. As Wayne alluded to, it's more for the dour, you know, 600-metre greyhounds, where the Gardens and Dapto, the more speedier types, trying to sort of get up to 600 metres, I guess. But yeah, we've been lacking for a number of years, and well, as we all know, the lease is up in 2027, and you know, it's whether we're there till then is another matter, as you just said. But look, it's great to see we're investing in the middle journey at a regional track, and I love the fact that a regional track is going to get this type of prize money, Duke. The town, or whatever town or track it is, will get behind it. Yeah. And you can then and the little offshoots, and you can, you know, put functions on and whatnot. So yeah, it'll be interesting where it lands when the decision is made. But I'm sure there's a number of tracks who'll be certainly putting their hand up to host it, Duke.
Yeah, they sure will. All right, we're going to take a break here on Behind the Boxes. After the break, we're going to speak with Fiona Geary, a young lady training plenty of winners up here in the Northern Rivers. Alex Thomas, the head of marketing at Greyhound Racing New South Wales, will be along to tell us all about the Super Series. We've got what's hot, what's not, and dogs to follow. All that coming up right after this. Welcome back to this week's episode of Behind the Boxes. We've heard from Wayne Billett as far as that middle distance championship worth $125,000 to the winner is concerned. Our special feature guest this week is a young lady from up my neck of the woods here. She trains out of Kyarran. Fiona Geary joins us on Behind the Boxes this week. Good morning, Fiona. I've got to say, I spoke to you a couple of days back. You're on 130 acres there. It takes you 6 hours to mow it.
Yes. There's a lot of work to be done.
My God, how many drinks, how much music do you listen to? I mean, it must be a massive job to do that.
Yeah, I have Spotify on repeat, so.
Hey, listen, I want to go back to the beginning. I said you're a young lady. You're starting to really make a name for yourself in the greyhound industry, but your dad, Gary Geary, has been involved in the dogs for around 55 years. Now, you were formerly based up in Brisbane around 10 years ago. You were starting races at the Brisbane Greyhound Club. You made a decision to opt out of a career as a dental technician to become a full-time greyhound trainer. Tell us, how did you come to that decision?
Well, I'm more of an outdoors person, and I enjoy being out in the sun and working with the animals, and at lunchtime, I was always doing test matings on greyhound data. So, yeah, I thought I should probably just have a go at this.
And you've been involved, as I said, Dad's had dogs since day one, basically. So you've been around them all your life.
Yep, and his father had them as well. So, Gordon. So
it must be something that Dad looks at you now training and thinks, wow, I've imparted my knowledge, and here she is making a name for herself. Yep,
he does.
And Fiona, Duke just mentioned you're at Kyarran on 130 acres. You've got a 400-metre straight track. tell us about the property, how many dogs you have got in work, and if you've got any pups on the property as well.
Yep, we've got a bull ring, straight track. We've got 14 dogs in training for racing, and we've got 15 dogs that we're doing pre-training work for people and all that sort of stuff. I've got 30 pups, but 15 are mine. I've got a nice little there.
Are you rearing for other people as well, Fiona, or is it mainly just your own breed?
For other people as well. It's 50-50. So 15 pups for myself and 15 for others.
And what do you think's the biggest thing about rearing pups? I mean, you know, plenty of galloping, plenty of good food and exercise.
Yeah, we've got big paddocks, dams, plenty of beef meat, good kibble. Yeah, it's all part of the parcel, and then starting to bring them through so that they get a bit of an education before they go off to break in. And yeah.
And that early groundwork is so critical. As you say, when you go to break in, it's, you know, it's too hard. Just take a pup out of the paddock, to send it to the breakers. You're on a hiding to nothing that way. So you guys obviously work with them the whole way through.
Yeah, all the way through. And I break my own dogs in. So I know what the breakers expect. So yeah, and it makes it a lot easier in the long run.
All right, let's talk about the dogs that you've trained. Say Sayonara was a free-for-all performer at Albion Park. What was the biggest thrill you got out of Say Sayonara?
Mainly, she was my first city winner. First start in the city, first win. And yeah, that was a thrill. And she ended up into top grade at Albion Park. She just loved that track. But yeah.
And at the moment, you've got a greyhound by the name of Modern Message who's going really well. He's by Mapunga Blazer out of Harper Mar. Again, 13 starts so far, 6 wins. As say, Kyron is only 15 minutes from the Grafton track. You basically race there every meeting, but he's a young pup. He's broken 20 seconds a couple of times at Grafton. What do you see to be his future?
Oh, well, I'd like to try and stretch her out now to the 450, see if she can handle the task. And I also need to start racing her on some tighter tracks. And yeah. You
also race the magazine dogs as well, Fee.
Yeah.
Where did the magazine suffix come from?
I was starting to run out of names, and then I kept getting names knocked back. So then I was like, okay, this might be easier.
Now, Fiona, your dad has obviously been a big influence on your career. What about any other trainers that you followed and looked up to in respect in the game? Who are those trainers?
Look up to people like Tom Savalas, who also start from scratch and bring them up into the racing careers, and Frank Hancock, who breeds and trains his own, and yeah, those sorts.
We all have dreams and aspirations. As an owner, I just want to have a good dog.
We all want that, Duke. We all want that.
I know. Fee, what about you as a young lady, as a young lady that's training? What races is it that, I mean, we've got Melbourne Cups, we've got Golden Easter Eggs. Is there one race that you sit down at night sometimes and think, God, I'd love to win that race?
Yeah, I'd love to win the $1 Million Chase.
Don't we all, Duke, eh?
Mate. I'd be happy to win a grade 5 at Grafton with any of them at the moment.
I'd cop a maiden. So yeah, exactly. You're shooting higher than I. Fiona, as a young trainer, you're 31. How do you perceive the industry here in New South Wales is going? And is there anything that you think we can be doing better moving forward?
I think the industry's doing pretty well in New South Wales. Possibly the grading could be looked at. But yeah, the way the welfare and everything's taken part of now, it's an industry that you are proud to be a part of. But yes.
Duke, that is something I've found a lot of people in the industry are very proud of at the moment, the welfare side of it, because look, there's racing and there's welfare. They're the two big main things in this industry that we've got to get right. And yeah, it's great to hear Fiona saying, that she does think the welfare, we're on the right track in that space.
Yeah. And Fee, I've got to ask you again, and it's not common that you see someone as a 31-year-old female, and I'm not harping on the fact that you're a female. I'm just saying that as a 31-year-old young lady, what do your friends perceive as far as your occupation as a full-time trainer is concerned? How do they view what you do?
They love it. They're always asking for tips, I guess.
Now, how many winners do you tip them?
Yeah.
I try and keep it down low in case we fall out. If they don't win, they might get cranky.
Good idea. And listen, tell me about the basic rudiments for you as a greyhound trainer. What exercise routines do you follow? What are you feeding as far as your race dogs and that are concerned? What do you think goes in towards making or getting the best out of your greyhounds?
Well, we like to free run them up our straight. Each greyhound we train differently as to how they react to what we put ahead of them. And so, yeah, we free run up our straight, or we put them behind the straight, or we trial them. We also use the bull ring to try and sharpen them up. And, yeah, that's basically it. Feed-wise, we feed beef and a good kibble. We try not to put too many additives into their feed unless their bloods say that they need it, because we like to just try and keep it simple without getting into trouble. So
yeah. And what about checking dogs? Are you big on checking them yourself? Are you learning you've learnt the insides and outs of a greyhound?
Yeah, Dad checks all our dogs and I'm learning off him. So yeah, I'm big on it. It needs to be done probably after every run. We like to do it, just so that they're sound and ready to go into the next race safe. And
obviously, we've just had this new track built at Grafton. You race there, as I mentioned, basically every meeting. You're also racing at Casino. Lismore's just up the road for you as well. Looking at the Grafton track and looking at where it was 12 months ago with the old track, with the new track now, how big a boon do you think that's been for the industry up here in the Northern Rivers?
It's been massive. It's a nice, safe track. You're hardly getting any injuries now. Everything's just a lot easier. Pre-training at that track is a lot easier now. You're getting them up in distance and also getting a nice guide on young pups. Yeah, it's massive.
All right. One final question. As a full-time greyhound trainer, how do you relax? What's your downtime? What do you do to switch off from the dogs?
Probably watch Netflix.
What's your favourite series?
At the moment, Arrow.
Oh, right. Okay.
Hey, Fiona, just quietly, Duke was telling me earlier he's getting a little bit bored and he hasn't got much on at the moment. So if you ever do need any help with the mowing, just give him a call. Cheap labour, he'll do it for nothing because he's always happy to help people out for nothing. So just give him a call. He'll come over and jump on the mower and give you a hand. Duke?
That would be wonderful.
There you go.
Hey, listen, Battler, when I rang Fee the other day, I said, I'll come out and shoot some overlay, that we've just seen, obviously, with the straight track and the pups. She said, no, you can't don't come out. We've got to mow. I said, okay. Mowing, yeah. How long? She goes, 6 hours. I said, yeah, send me the footage.
Yeah. You didn't have to go over at that time? I'll just shoot over now?
I did. I thought more of it, yeah.
Well, even just even there, she's obviously a perfectionist. So yeah. The vision would be seen. So one of the probably looking spick and span. So I dare say, if anyone wants, looking for a trainer in the Northern Rivers, Fiona will do a great job and always have the dogs looking well, as they do.
Absolutely. Hey, Fee, are you looking to take more dogs on? Are you looking for other new trainers to come into your business?
Yeah, I am. I'd probably need to build some more kennels, but yes. Yeah,
Duke can help there. He's a jack of all trades, don't
I'm doing a reno here. I'm flat out doing that, let alone building kennels. Yeah. All right. Listen, Fiona, thank you so much for your time. Continue. Good luck. You're having a great run at the moment. That must really make it easier to get up in the mornings as well.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Fiona Geary there, battler, and a young lady making a name for herself up here in this far northern Rivers region, training a stack of winners lately.
Yeah, and as we've mentioned on this show, Duke, it's so great to see these young trainers coming through. They're our future, and she's having success on the track, and with her dad helping out, and as obviously, sought advice from some top conditioners. Fiona has no doubt got a big future in the sport, and it's great to see. I get a big thrill out of these young trainers coming through, as we've harped on a number of times. They are the future, as I just alluded to.
Yep, you're dead right. Okay, looks like our jobs are safe for a little while longer, mate.
They are. I'm a bit worried after talking to Wayne earlier, to be quite frank. You might be all right. Well, I'm not entirely sure about me. I think
right. So it looks like my job's really safe for a little while longer.
Why is it? Why do you think we're safe?
I'll tell you why, because Greyhound Racing New South Wales are about to launch the Super Series, Greyhound Super Series campaign, right? And this will be a promotion that will encapsulate all our biggest feature events. The man who's going to tell us all about it is the head of marketing at Greyhound Racing New South Wales, and that is Alex Thomas. Alex, welcome along to your maiden and debut performance here on Behind the Boxes, mate.
G'day, chaps. Thanks for having me. No, it's good to make the cut. Thank you. I'm excited.
Well, yeah, you did make the cut because I think Mick wasn't available and Brad had something else to do. And never mind.
Hey, Duke, just first of all, Alex, have you done all that artwork in the background on the wall? Some impressive stuff there.
No, I have, mate. I've been. It's been a slow couple of months. So no, this was an attempt to keep the kids busy during lockdown, but I think that took one day, and then I'm stuck with it. So no.
Hey, Alex, tell us about this Greyhound Super Series. And Battler, the reason our jobs are safe because we are going to promote all our Group 1 events and our big feature events, and we're going to be doing live hostings from tracksides on each one of those nights. Alex, tell us a bit more about it, the ins and outs, and what does it actually entail, mate?
Absolutely, mate. So, yeah, it's exciting. So we're launching the Greyhound Super Series later this week. So it's a brand new initiative for us in New South Wales. It's essentially a marketing campaign which sits above all the great key feature racing we've got all year round. So, we've got a lot of racing with a lot of unique historic events. And the idea of this is when someone sees the Super Series logo, it becomes synonymous with the best of the best, first in class, best racing we've got to offer in New South Wales. So it's very exciting, mate. We're going to cover off a lot of different events across the year. Traditionally, before, we've only really promoted from a marketing perspective the $1 Million Chase, which has been very successful. But that's one thing, our flagship event. It's important to us, but there's obviously a lot more. So starting with the Dapto Megastar coming up this Friday, that's when the campaign starts. It also cover off the Paws of Thunder night, which has obviously got those 3 Group 1s in it. The Golden Easter Egg, the $1 Million Chase, which was rescheduled from the COVID year this year. Amongst others. So, mate, it's very exciting. Yeah, we're pumped about it.
And Alex, I've had a sneak peek at the latest TVC that has been produced for Greyhound Racing New South Wales. It looks spectacular, mate.
Yeah, it's a cracker. One we're very proud of. Came with its challenges. So we were out at Richmond a few weeks back, and the idea is, Greyhound Racing is all about speed, excitement, and winning, and we're trying to cover that off in an ad. So we filmed the Greyhounds running it both super slow motion mixed in with slightly sped up footage, and we put some coloured powder underneath that correspond with each race rug. So, the 5s and the yellows and the pinks and the 8s. And what you're left with is just spectacular, mate. It's just this beautiful fast and slowed up shots where you're left with a trail of powder. And it wasn't easy. It came with its challenges. I don't think something like that's been done at that kind of scale before. The first couple of runs were, not enough powder, so you couldn't see much. So we had to load them up with more, and it was great fun, and the participants in the area were fantastic, waking their dogs up at night and coming out to help us. And yeah, it was a fantastic effort, and the end result was spectacular. We're happy.
Yeah, you mentioned the participants, Alex, and it was, I think, 4 or 5 trainers brought out their dogs of the night during after a race, well, later one night at Richmond, and then you went through. I think you might have finished up around midnight or even later. So it was a big effort by the trainers to do that. Now, as far as the campaign is concerned, what do you see are the big benefits of a campaign like this?
Oh, mate, it's just it's about spreading awareness about the big, the events that we've got, and as I said before, celebrating the unique history that comes with what we're doing in Greyhound Racing in New South Wales. So we're more than just a $1 Million Chase. Everyone knows that in the industry, but it's about growing that audience as well, bringing more newer fans to our sport, and that's how we're going to do it through these marketing campaigns. So you know, we'll be pretty visible across the piece for each campaign. As you mentioned, Duke, there's going to be TVCs next year. There's 15-second pre-roll videos happening from Friday to support the Dapto campaign. We'll be in the newspaper, across digital. It's a significant campaign, and this allows us to be in market throughout the year. So, you know, we're not just about one race, we're about all racing in New South Wales. And whilst our industry knows that, the wider public may not yet. So that's what we're hoping to achieve.
Yeah, and Alex, you came across from News Limited a couple of years ago now to Greyhound Racing New South Wales. You were heavily involved in the launch of the Supercoach promotion over at News Corp as well. But since you've come to GRNSW, again, our campaigns, we've literally gone through the roof, like our wagering and that. Our GAP campaigns with Timmy Cale, GRNSW ambassadors in Ryan Pappenhouse, and you've got the other GAP campaigns like Jess Fox and Todd McKenney and Beck Palmer and that. How difficult was it for you? I know you're a marketing professional, and I've seen some of your presentations. They're unbelievable, mate. You can do mine as well, even though. How difficult was it for you to get your head around what greyhound racing was and how to reach a new audience?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, mate. I've always been a fan, but obviously I essentially knew nothing when I started, and I've learned a lot along the way. I was very lucky that my first day in the job here was the same day we announced $1 Million Chase 2019. So I literally hit the ground running. I had a whole campaign to work on, and as you mentioned, we signed up Timmy Cahill not long before that. So it's a learning curve, mate. I was lucky enough. This was all before COVID, 2019. I was lucky enough to go out to the regions, to Gunnedah and Dubbo and the like, in the regional tour around there. And yeah, it was just fantastic. And yeah, we've done some good stuff. And I really think that in my time here, we're just scratching the surface, if I'm honest. Like we've done some great stuff, and there's plenty more ideas we've got to keep on, promoting what the great code of greyhound racing in our state.
And Alex, some of the big names you've just mentioned, how have they been to work with? And did they know much about greyhound racing before they sort of got involved with the campaign, the Timmy Cahills and the like?
Well, I mean, it's a very interesting one, because I've worked with ambassadors before, and I'm genuine when I say this. These are the easiest ones I've ever had to work with, because they are so passionate. Like, they're just Tim Cahill, Todd McKenney, Beck Palmer, Reed McCracken, Jess Fox. They just believe in what we're doing so much that they're happy to be part of it. And a lot of them, the majority of them, are greyhound owners or fosterers themselves. Been involved in the GAP side of things for a long time, and it just makes my job super easy. Like, compare the Super Series. The shoot, which came with all the logistical challenges, something like a GAP shoot, and we have actually launched a new campaign this Monday, which I'm happy to talk you through now. But a GAP shoot is so easy because they're just, such beautiful animals. They're, you're in someone's house who's been through the program, and watching them interact with their family in their home environment is an easy one. So when you talk about the ambassadors, we actually had a campaign a couple of months ago celebrating those ambassadors and hearing their stories, which was a first for us, because traditionally we're driving people to our website to consume content and ultimately adopt a dog. This one was slightly different, because we were asking people to go to our site, and I'd encourage you all to go to the Our Stories page on the GAP site, where it's basically hearing about why they are so passionate, and easy stories and wonderful stories to read, really.
Yeah, and Ryan Pappenhausen is testament to that. I went up, did the interview with him a few months back, and again, they're just genuine in their love of the dogs and their love of the code as well. So well done. We're getting cut through, mate. We're hitting that younger audience, which is so vital for any sort of business now, that 18 to 34 bracket, and obviously our campaigns are working. Alex, thanks very much for joining us on Behind the Boxes, mate. Good luck with the Greyhound Super Series campaign, and we look forward to seeing it on a television screen soon, mate.
No worries, guys. Thanks for having me.
Cheers. Alex Thomas there, who is the head of marketing for Greyhound Racing New South Wales and Battler. As they say, any publicity is good publicity, but for a few years now, it's all been positive for us.
And this is a big part of the game, Duke, in this day and age, about promotion, about getting the word out there and getting cut through. It's not just about, prize money return. We want as much prize money as we possibly can getting back to the industry, but obviously we need to get, to broaden our audience and get out there and get that cut through. And we are with these advertising campaigns and some of these big names, Duke, which are getting behind the industry. 10 or 15 years ago, they wouldn't have been getting behind the industry, but they are happy to get involved now. The GAP program has been a raging success, and Alex alluded to there about some of the photos with the retired greyhounds and how easy they are compared to the ad they've just done. And you can see when you go to see the various photos, and they're laying on the lounge, they're laying on pillows on the floor, living the life of luxury in retirement.
Cat beside them on the, a cat beside them on a bed or something like that.
Yeah, so it's a big part of this industry now to get that word out there and market out not only our racing product but GAP, and that it needs to happen. And the guys are doing a really good job. As I said, I've mentioned Cut Through a couple of times, but they're really getting that, and we need it to move forward into the future, Duke.
Yeah, well, again, last year, Timmy, we had 9 minutes of coverage on free to air on Channel 9 after a prelim final of the NRL. Unheard of 5 years ago. Would never have happened, mate. And it's, as I said, I've alluded to it a couple of times now, but we have got some big decisions coming forward, which it's only going to augur well for not only the code, but also for the participants as well, the owners with increased prize money, the trainer with the potential to get new clients and all that. So,
well, Duke, you only have to look where the prize money levels were 5 and 6 years ago and where they are now. The announcements were made recently, and look, it's not going to stop there. Moving forward, there's, we'd like to think there's going to be more prize money increases coming in the not too distant future, and some other big races. So, it's the industry's got a bright future here in New South Wales.
All right, last Thursday night, we had heats of the Sportsbet Middle Distance Championship at Dapto. Battler, you were down there. It looked a filthy night. I was watching it on the screen. It was a stack of rain, but the track actually held up really good. Zipping Niseko came back from running second in the Top Gun Stayers over the 725 at the Meadows, back to the 600 at Dapto on that Thursday night, ran 34.43. Heat 2 was a great two-dog race between Prim and Proper and Where's Rocky. Where's Rocky fell out of the box, then went like a Learjet. He was first up over the 600. Let's go back to Zipping Niseko. I think she's a greyhound, I say. I think she's about to hit a peak, mate. I don't think she has at the moment as a distance dog, but you just saw the way she came back and handled herself in the wet. I think it was a terrific win.
Yeah, you mentioned the wet. It was a tough old night at Dapto. I was doing the hard yards.
Yeah.
We got there.
I was at home having a coffee,
Yeah, a red or two. Would have been half a dozen by the time that race went around. Oh, look, she's, you know what she is now. She's just the complete race dog. She really knuckled down in the latter stages. Around that first turn, she was sort of pretted wide, and she was back fourth or fifth, and then she just sort of dove back to the rails when a run presented itself, and she got into that perfect position behind Ice Cream Story, who's certainly no slouch rolling along in front at Dapto and has run 34.2. But on that wetter track, it played into the hands of Zipping Niseko, which is just too strong. I'll tell you what, she had her covered, Ice Cream Story covered on the home corner, but I'll tell you what, she didn't shirk a task over the later stages, Ice Cream Story, and she's come up with box number 8. She'll be charging over. She might well get the fly at the first turn, and she can run 34.2, as I've just mentioned. So Prim and Proper, she's flying. Isn't she a ripper, Duke?
Just keeps putting in, mate. And what about David Smith and Jason Magri? So Zipping Niseko beats Ice Cream Story, and then in the next heat, Prim and Proper, trained by Dave, beats Where's Rocky, trained by Jace.
Yeah, exactly. He bounced back, didn't he? It's the value, really, Duke. Prim and Proper currently $8.50. I'll tell you what, brave man to suggest she couldn't win the race if she just nailed the jump, and she generally does. Ice Cream Story could easily get the fly from the outside. She's currently around the $3.80 mark, so she's got a tremendous chance. Really, really competitive race, Stu. Looking forward to it. I'll be down trackside. Hopefully we've got better weather tonight at that.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, the bookies were very benevolent last Thursday with Zipping Niseko at 270, 280, 290. I thought she was massively over the odds. I think, as I said before, she's a greyhound we're going to see a lot more of in big races in the next 6 months as a distance dog. Just knowing Jace, knowing what he's going to do, what he's done with her from the Top Gun Stayers to last Thursday, probably just freshened her up. I just think she's a greyhound on the rise. I think she's racing now with a stack of confidence, and I don't mind taking the shorts about it because I know what I'm going to get. It's going to be a cracker of a race, so you have a good time there tonight. Battler, what's hot, what's not, brought to you by our great sponsor, Ivory Coat. So if you're looking for good dog food, good cat food, good companion animal food, check out Ivory Coat. What's hot for you this week, mate?
I'll tell you what, I've been keeping an eye on Wes McDonald, who's been having a pretty good run of late. His last 14 starters at the races, he's had 7 winners, so got a really good winning strike rate at the moment. He's well known in greyhound racing circles. Where's his brothers, Rod McDonald, his wife Kylie, and of course their dad Peter was a great greyhound trainer. Trained God only knows how many winners over the years. He passed away earlier in the years. Condolences to the family. But I'll tell you what, Wes is having a really, really good run at the moment. Won a hat trick or a treble the other week at Dubbo, and Kylie's getting a few winners as well. So they're having a tremendous trot at the moment. It's good to see. They're not afraid to they generally keep to their area around Dubbo and Bathurst and whatnot. But I'll tell you what, if you're following the McDonald family at the moment, I think you'd be on the right side of the ledger, Duke.
Yeah. Tell you what's hot for me, Bat. I love things like this. It is the battle at the moment between Sunburn Highway and Good Odds Harada in Masters races at Wentworth Park. 1 week Harada wins, Highway wins, the next week Harada wins. And we saw it again last Saturday night. The week before, Good Odds Harada came out and spanked him. Sunburn Highway got a check down the back straight and dropped out badly. But, Harada went on and just brained them. And then last Saturday night, off goes Sunburn. Good Odds Harada on his tail, couldn't pick it up. It's just great racing for dogs that, let me tell you, like Sunburn Highway's 5 years of age. He won the Masters Meteor last year. It just shows again, it frustrates me when you try to explain this to people who aren't greyhound people. These dogs love to race, mate.
And 5 years ago, Duke, they wouldn't be racing right now because they would have retired. So Masters Racing has kept these 2 top liners continuing to race. And Sunburn Highway, isn't he? 31 wins now. He's trying to chase down Bessie Boo, who won 34 races around Wentworth Park. So it'll be interesting. I know they're trying to get they're trying to chase that record down, when Good Odds Harada is trying to chase the all-time prize money record down. So, it is. And as you said, it's good to see them aim up every week. It's great for racing. It's great for they're always good betting races. The punters, their form's well exposed. So, no, it's great to see, Duke.
Yeah, and you mentioned that record, Good Odds Harada. He's only about 50, I think he's about $48,000 shy of Fanta Bale, in excess of $1.3 million. So, and look, again, we've got Masters Meteor on next year. I know it's 4 or 5 months away, but boy, oh boy, who's to say they won't be leading contenders in that?
Yeah, it'd be brave men to suggest they won't be around still racing in May next year. So it's clear that they love their racing, Duke. It's clear.
Absolutely,
so providing their sound, I'd say we'll see them lining up, and he could well get that record, Good Odds Harada.
All right, how about we try and put some good old hard-earned into the pockets of our viewers and our listeners? Give me your dog to follow, Batlon.
Yeah, young greyhound by the name of Thirsty Collie by Kibo at a Let's Win Misha for Jack Smith, who we all know really well, has won his past couple of races at Bathurst and Dubbo. Now, we're watching him win last start at Dubbo. He ran 22.87 over the 400 metres, really knuckled down over the latter stages. That's what I really liked about him. But prior to that, his maiden victory at Bathurst, running 25.70 odd, was really, really tidy as well. He's in astute hands. I think he's a greyhound who we can follow and get a quid out in the not too distant future. I think he can go through the grades and eventually get to city class. Thirsty Collie, my greyhound to follow. Duke.
That was bred. It was bred by Bradley Barnes, of course, which is Trish and Minnie's brother. And my greyhound to follow, Battler, is a greyhound by the name of Fernando Hunter. I know you know this dog well. Owned by Brenton Avdulla, one of the leading jockeys here in Sydney. Trained by Daryl Thomas. He resumed on Monday evening at Maitland. Over the 400, which to me is nowhere near his pet distance. He came out off box 7, won by nearly 6 lengths, running 22.08. Thank you very much. He's now had 11 starts for 7 wins. He's been to Wenty. He ran second at Wenty there at his only start in 29.90. I imagine Daryl will just take him up through the distances, probably over the 450 at Maitland, either this week or next week, and then target some good races, because there's no doubting he's a dog that's got a stack of ability. He's run 24.9. He went 24.9, I think, winning his maiden at Maitland Battler.
Oh, he's a weapon. He's a weapon. I remember seeing his maiden victory that night. He completed at a rocket and he returned in devastating fashion, 22.08, two 10s outside the track record or thereabouts. There's no doubt they'll step him up to the 450 or whatever it might be, and then target the bigger races in the coming months. Great to see Brenton involved. He loves his greyhouse, Brenton. He was actually at Maitland. We've just seen the photo on Monday. So he's not afraid to go to the track. He's not riding at the moment. He's on the injured list, but great to see him enjoying greyhound racing at the moment. And the greyhound's named after his young bloke, Hutter. So I think that means that's an even more special. I think every time he steps out of the track and the way he's going, blowing them away. So, geez, they're going to have a heck of a lot of fun with him over the next 12, 18 months.
Yeah, he's a very, very fast animal. Fernando Hunter, my dog to follow. Now, next week, Battler, we will be announcing our Greyhound Racing New South Wales 10 nominees for the Phoenix slot. So we've already got 5, which include the likes of Light and Lily and Bandit Ned. Cash View won the Lismore Cup. But we've got 5 others. We've had the selection panel, and probably 4 of them were pretty clear cut, mate.
Yeah, Zipping Kiros, another one who's already in there in the top 5. Yeah, I think anyone who knows their form and follows New South Wales greyhounds really closely, I think right at the moment, the next 4 or 5 probably pick themselves. So, yeah, that announcement coming out early next week. So everyone should stay tuned, and then the voting process will begin. And eventually we will end up with what we've termed the people's dog here in New South Wales to go down and represent New South Wales in the Phoenix. Great to see that, someone out there in the public will get an opportunity to win up to $50,000 in the competition, Duke. So, yeah, exciting times. So stay tuned next week for the announcement of those 5 other greyhounds.
Yep, and big times coming up there, Battler. We have got 4 semi-finals of the GBOTA's Flight to the Phoenix series held at Wentworth Park this Saturday night. Zipping Kiros, he got rolled in one of the events last week. Shock results. Cop Magna came out, blew him away, led all the way. Baroque Knight, who resumed in that race, he's actually hurt a back muscle. He's out of the series. He was drawn in box 2 in race number 8. I know Keepy's devastated about that. But 4 semis, first and second, obviously go through to their final next week.
Yeah, it was interesting. I know one bloke who had Zipping Kiros finishing in a multi, and I think he was on the floor. You know who that was?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no!
How do you get them beat? How do you get them beat at $1, at $1.18, $1.20 off the red, 29.3, 29.4?
Only you. You thought you get an extra 25% on your money, putting him in.
Running gods, mate. The overs gods always get you, brother.
Yeah. But
so 4 semis this Saturday night.
Yeah.
First 2 go through,
and he's got box 8 too.
Yeah.
He's got box 8, Duke. So you like him out there, and it's a pretty strong race. Chevy Royale in the 6, and the young greyhound Suwali in box number 1. Interesting to see Ice Cream Story coming back from the 600 tonight at Dapto for a tilt at that as well. So, yeah, it should be good night's racing at Winnie on Saturday night.
All right, the day before, on Friday, we have got 4 heats of the Group 3 Charcoal Inn Casino Cup to be staged at Casino. The first of those heats, race 7, kicks off at 1:14 p.m. The headline act, obviously, Timmy, comes up in the last heat. Lewis Rumble draws box 2, fresh off a win at Ipswich in the big race there.
Oh, geez, he was outstanding. We know he's a quick dog, Duke, but when he does get the start right, geez, he can go as quick as any greyhound, well, certainly here in New South Wales.
I've got to tell you a story about one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because what you just said there, when he gets the start right. So I spoke to Cav today, Steve Kavanagh, his own trainer. I said to Cav, Cav, he's just become that real race dog package now. You know, he's nailing the jump. He goes, what do you mean he's nailing the jump? He's jumped his last 11 starts or something. I said, yeah, but, you know, like he was hit and miss. He goes, he's won 11 or 15. He stepped all the time. I go, yeah, but, you know, remember when he was a pup, you know?
Yeah.
I realised that no matter what I said, I just kept digging a hole. So I agree with you. I said, Cav, absolutely coming out of the lids, bud.
Oh, he's a lid pinger.
Yeah.
He's a lid pinger. Well, we all read races a little differently. I think I was on him one night at Winnie Park and he had box number 1 in, I think maybe, I don't know, it was a new sensation. All I know is he didn't
potential stakes, I think.
It was something like that. Anyway, I know he didn't begin that night, believe me. But yeah, he blew them away. He absolutely blew them away in that Ipswich Cup. And I'll tell you what, if he, you know, anything that Cav decides to target, he's going to be the leading chance. You know, I'm not sure whether he's got any plans to go interstate in you know, later this year or probably not later this year, but early next year for those big Group 1s. Geez, I think he'd certainly fly the flag for New South Wales in a big way, Duke.
I'll tell you what would suit him, and it's a race that Cav's great dog won, Brother Fox, is the Hobart 1000, 461 metres on that big loop. That'd suit him down at the ground. Any
mail that he might go there? Or?
No, didn't press after he'd given me a kick up the backside. After I'd had a couple of chances, I thought I'll just leave it. But no, I don't think so. I think he'll get through this series now and then probably make a decision whether he gets a nomination for the Phoenix, you know, things like that. So, but again, he is a fast dog. He's gone 27-3 at Casino, but I'm pretty certain I remember him trialling faster than that. Gets the right box number 2. So good to see 4 full fields for the heats of the Casino Cup. Big show today, mate. Geez, we've covered some territory.
Haven't we what? We've earned our dollars this week, Duke. Hey? We might survive another week, eh? Maybe.
I'll send Wayne a text, mate, and let him know you did a bit of overtime.
Shaky ground.
Hey, listen, have a good night at Dapto. Hopefully the rains aren't there this week. As I said, big week coming up. And then next week, look out for the Daily Telegraph with the announcement of our 10 nominees for a Phoenix slot. Good to have your company as always, mate.
It's been another fun week, Duke. As I said earlier in the show, I felt a bit down last week when I got the text.
Hasn't your life changed from lockdown, all that? Yeah. Now you're worried about us missing a show.
Yeah, I know.
Good to see you're a team player, brother.
Yeah. I better go and talk to someone, I think. I don't know what's going on. Mate,
I'll see you over the weekend, but we'll catch everyone back here next week.
We'll do it all again then, Duke. Ta-da.
All right. Timmy the Battler Newbold here on Behind the Boxes. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you have some good luck on the punt over the weekend. I'm Mark Duclos. We'll catch you next week on Behind the Boxes.